Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US is being billed as a one of its kind trailblazing visit which will change the course of India-US relationships. Now, the most important facet of the whole visit is the defense relationship. And the Prime Minister is expected to sign at least two path-breaking contracts which are going to be transformative as far as India and the US military cooperation and future co-development goes. In my opinion, the most significant deal is going to be the deal to sign up for manufacturing and transfer of technology of fighter jet engines. India has been looking for a very long time, at least 15 to 20 years, for technology to make fighter jet engines in India. Now, fighter jet engines are a very complicated technology. Only 4 or 5 nations have really mastered it because it requires very advanced metallurgy and a high degree of engineering which is not available. India had many options to get these jet engines. French had offered it to us, the Brits had offered it to us, but we are finally going in for the American GE 414 engine. Now, this fighter jet engine is going to be made in India with transfer of technology of up to 80% on value as per government officials. These engines are going to power not just the LCM Mark II, it's also going to power the first 2 squadrons of the AMCA, which is the Advanced Multi-Role Combat Aircraft, India's next generation or India's 5th generation fighter jet. So, a total of 100 of the LCA Tejas Mark IIs and at least 40 of the AMCAs are going to have this engine. And the technology transfer that comes with it is going to be used most likely for more advanced platform that India makes in the future as well. We have to, of course, wait and see the details of the whole agreement. I think this will be revealed once the signing is done. But I think the big focus here is to ensure that India gets some technology which it can make on its own and be able to use in future platforms as well. The other big deal on the defense front is for 31 drones. These are the MQ-9 Reaper drones. Out of these, 15 are going to go for the Navy and 8 each to the Air Force and the Army. Now, these drones are very interesting drones. They are high altitude and long endurance drones, which means they can fly pretty high and for extended times of more than a day or two. And their primary role in the Navy is going to be surveillance missions. We already have 2 of these drones on lease from the US with the Navy, and Indian Navy operators are adept with using them. In fact, not just on the seas, these drones have been used to take photographs and real-time surveillance of the China border as well. So these drones are going to come in, 31 of them. 31 of them deal worth about $3 billion or more. And this is a capability that India does not currently possess. We are trying to develop our own range of drones. We have a lot of small endurance, low altitude drones which the private sector are making, but the MQ-9 high-end drones are again not available easily across the world. Very few countries make them. And this capability will definitely increase India's ability to keep a check on its borders and perhaps carry out in the future long-range precision strikes as well. And India is a very dependent country on Russia when it comes to arms. And the Predator, especially the MQ-9 deal and the jet engine deal, comes at a time when the Western world and even India is looking to step away from over-reliance on one particular source, which is Russia for weapons. India is, of course, going for its Atmanirbhar concept in which they want to make everything here locally without keeping foreign dependencies. And the Western world, especially US, is keen that India switches away from Russian weaponry because it is seen as a sign of relationships between the two countries which will remain or grow deeper. The biggest defense supplier to India for years has been Russia. Even now, Russia accounts for the most number of weapons in terms of value. But you may have noticed that in the past few years, there's been no fresh defense deal done with the Russians. The last major ones were for the S-400 systems, their defense systems. But as we know, only 3 of these have been able to be delivered. The last 2 squadrons or the last 2 regiments of the system are not available for deliveries because I think Russia is facing issues on taking payments from India. They are under the financial sanctions list, and also there are other issues in terms of supply chains in Russia which have been disrupted. Moving forward, we're going to be a very interesting period of 10 to 15 years in which we will have a mix of Western and Russian equipment, but definitely the shift is towards Western or Western technology, which is of course superior to the Russian technology as of now in many factors, but also utilizing Western technology or taking transfer from their technologies and making stuff on our own. And that is the real focus that everyone is looking for. But yes, it is not a short-term game. It's a 15 to 20-year game in which we will require all the help that we can get. And these two deals, especially the jet engine deal, is going to go a long way in making India self-reliant.